Welcome to the Hamburg Parliament, called the Hamburgische Bürgerschaft. It's great that you're interested in what goes on politically in Hamburg. Lots of what affects us on a daily basis has a political dimension. It's doubly the case here because Hamburg is both a city and a German federal state. That means there's a wide range of policies that have to be decided for Hamburg as a whole. And policy is made right at the heart of Hamburg, in the City Hall. The right-hand side of the City Hall houses the government, called the Senate. You're in the left-hand part at the moment in the Bürgerschaft, or Parliament half. 121 members of Parliament, elected representatives of the people, work here to create a framework for the daily coexistence of 1.8 million people. Most of the MPs have jobs in addition to their seats in Parliament. The Bürgerschaft is a part-time parliament, and so most of its bodies meet in the afternoon and evening. The people of Hamburg decide every 5 years who's going to represent them in the City Hall and speak on their behalf. But what does the Hamburg Parliament actually do? It makes laws, elects the first major, keeps a check on the work of the Senate and sets the budget. Parliament makes laws. In other words, it sets the rules for our life together. Though it's the government that tables most of the proposed legislation, it's Parliament that represents the people and makes the decisions. By the way, the public can intervene directly if enough people come together in a popular initiative. Parliament elects the first major. He and his senators set the political course for Hamburg. But Parliament keeps a check on the work of the Senate and thus on the exercise of government. The senators have their own bench in the plenary chamber. MPs sit in a semicircle in front of the speaker's desk. MPs have many ways of monitoring the Senate. As well as deciding what makes it into law and what doesn't, MPs can ask parliamentary questions, so-called minor and major interpellations. The Senate is required to answer in writing. Answers can easily run to 50 pages of detail.
Als CDU-Fraktion, als stärkste Oppositionsfraktion ist es unser Auftrag, die Regierung zu kontrollieren, zu kritisieren, aber auch eigene Vorschläge zu machen. Opposition gehört zur Demokratie dazu. Sie ist sozusagen das Salz in der Suppe der Demokratie.
Auch aus der Opposition heraus kann man etwas bewegen. Zum Beispiel, wenn die Regierung bestimmte Themen nicht auf die Tagesordnung setzt, können das die Oppositionsfraktionen machen.
Zum Beispiel in der Regierungserklärung des ersten Bürgermeisters. Er hat 1 Stunde lang über die Zukunft Hamburgs referiert, ohne das Thema soziale Gerechtigkeit und Armut zu erwähnen. Und das ist für uns als linke Opposition natürlich dann sehr wichtig, das zu diskutieren.
Die AfD-Fraktion deckt die gesamten Themen der Hamburger Politik ab, auch wenn dies mit 6 Abgeordneten mitunter eine Herausforderung darstellt. Dabei vertreten wir stets konservative, freiheitliche Positionen und haben das Ohr an den Sorgen und Nöten der Bürger. Klar ist, dass Themen wie innere Sicherheit, Probleme mit der Einwanderung, Verkehr, Wohnen und Schule dabei eine besonders wichtige Rolle spielen.
Wir sind eine konstruktive Fraktion, die weder von links oder von rechts dogmatische Politik macht, sondern die Politik der Mitte vertritt und für die Freiheit der Bürger hier eine liberale Sachpolitik gestaltet.
Konstruktiv kritisch bedeutet dabei für uns, wir sind konstruktiv, wenn es gute Vorschläge gibt, bringen auch selber viele Vorschläge ein. Und wir sind kritisch, wenn es schlechte Vorschläge gibt. Das verurteilen wir dann auch ganz klar, beispielsweise wenn der Senat schlechte Vorschläge macht.
Parliament can also demand to see government papers. Additionally, it can set up commissions of inquiry, so that it can investigate certain issues critically and calmly. Parliament also decides the size of Hamburg's budget and how it should be spent. The Senate tables a proposal, making it clear how much money it intends to spend on each area. Parliament debates the city's budget, makes amendments to it and approves it. Most of this takes place in front of everyone in the plenary chamber. MPs take part in debates, speaking openly and critically, and this can be seen and monitored by the media and the public. The plenary sittings, full meetings of the MPs, are Hamburg's political showcase. The elected politicians meet here every fortnight. Everything that is said is recorded. Afterwards, everyone can read what was discussed and how. The sittings are also broadcast live on the internet. During question time, MPs wrangle over burning issues. The verbal clashes go to show that our politicians really stand up for the people in the city.
Wir versuchen in unserer täglichen Arbeit die Sorgen und Nöte der Menschen in unserer Stadt aufzunehmen und natürlich dann im Rathaus in konkrete Politik zu gießen. Und es ist natürlich wichtig, dass es da die verschiedenen Alternativen auch gegeneinander abgewogen werden und am Ende eine saubere und gute Entscheidung für unsere Stadt steht.
During parliamentary debates, everyone can find out what MPs' views are, how they see problems and what solutions they propose. It really brings democracy to life. For instance, MPs debate motions and bills. Altogether, that adds up to more than 500 pages of parliamentary papers. It's a huge job to keep up with it all. MPs are constantly having to absorb new information and incorporate it into their deliberations. Clearly, this also applies to the arguments previous speakers advance in the plenary debates. Figures and references have to be spontaneously checked and speeches updated immediately.
Hier im Plenarsaal kämpfen die Abgeordneten für ihre Ideen und Überzeugungen, Anträge und Gesetzentwürfe. Als Präsidentin ist es meine Aufgabe, dafür zu sorgen, dass es dabei fair zugeht, dass also alle Abgeordneten zu ihrem Recht kommen und den Auftrag ihrer Wählerinnen und Wähler auch wirklich erfüllen können. Und das gilt übrigens nicht nur hier im Plenarsaal, denn das ist der zeitlich kleinste Teil unserer politischen Arbeit.
The real effort goes into the preparatory work outside the plenary chamber. After all, the papers all have to be thought through, written and read. Some pieces of business are rejected or accepted, others considered to be finished with or referred to committees for further discussion. A high level of concentration is required to keep track of everything. What's more, if every MP acted individually, the list of speakers would never end. There just wouldn't be enough time for all the topics. For that reason, MPs with interests in common form parliamentary groups that sit together in the plenary chamber. They usually belong to the same party. At the moment, there are 6 parliamentary groups in the Bürgerschaft. The SPD, the Social Democrats, and Bündnis 90 Die Grünen, the Greens, are the parties of government. They hold the majority in parliament. They nominate the major and in principle they support the Senate line. On the other side is the opposition made up of the CDU, Christian Democrats, Die Linke, Left Party, FDP, Free Democrats, and the AfD, Alternative for Germany. In addition, there are 3 non-party MPs. The opposition's primary objective is to critically monitor the Senate. Within the parliamentary groups, all MPs are informed in good time about dates and deadlines, subject matter and critical issues. Given the many topics dealt with by Parliament, individual MPs can be experts on every subject. That's why each parliamentary group has its own spokesmen and women on certain topics. Here, politics is about trust, sharing the work, and being ready to compromise. The Council or Presidium is made up of representatives of all the parliamentary groups. Its seats are slightly raised behind the Speaker's desk. The President represents Parliament in public. She and the Vice Presidents take it in turns to chair the parliamentary sittings. The detailed parliamentary discussions take place in the specialist committees. These are made up of representatives from the parliamentary groups. As a rule, they meet in public. This is where experts are consulted. Subjects for discussion can either be referred from Parliament or be set by the committees themselves. Committee discussions end with a final report and a recommendation to Parliament. The Petitions Committee deals with complaints from the public. Many people work behind the scenes to ensure that all these bodies can do their work. Parliamentary group staff support the MPs. Other helping hands are kept busy in the City Hall. The day-to-day workings of Parliament are managed by the Bürgerschaft Chancellery, its administration. Its representatives have their own bench next to the Council. This is where the results of votes are recorded, for example. It's during such votes that the differences between the politicians and between the parliamentary groups really become clear. But argument and opposition are only one aspect of politics. When there are visitors, Parliament acts as a whole. The same is true of visits by delegations.
In der Tat gibt es viele Situationen, wo wir unterschiedlicher Meinung sind, das ist ganz klar. Aber es gibt eben auch Dinge, die wir gemeinsam bewegen wollen. Fraktionsübergreifend, wenn es darum geht, zum Beispiel sich für die Interessen Hamburgs auf Bundesebene einzusetzen oder bei Städtepartnerschaften oder zum Beispiel bei Konferenzen. Da ist es eigentlich so üblich, dass wir fraktionsübergreifend gemeinsam für die Interessen von Hamburg eintreten.
Politics concerns us all. For that reason, Parliament aims for transparency in its work. During the Youth Parliament, young people make policy in the plenary chamber. Interested members of the public can attend debates and committee sessions or speak to MPs direct. Democracy depends on the public sphere, and it depends on discussion. Politics is about trying to set the best course for our city. But which course is the best one? Come and join us in the search. We hope you have an interesting time in the Hamburg Parliament.